And the thing with, pardon me, the thing with Micho in particular is he always has that pressure to have that one pop-off game, which is what we saw in qualifier number 2 last week. It was that game that really pushed himself up and it got him into the qualifying range. So you always kind of have to wait for that time bomb. However, if that doesn't happen early on enough in the competition, he's just effectively locked out from his ability of taking the top spot, as so is No Luck Nebby. No luck today at all. And that at catching him with a headshot there.
As well, looking to go for some loot that's on the ground, but a player just going to be ready just to pressure him in the continued movement you see on the map coming through there in the box. But Mason going to get baited in. Kha'Zix with the charged shotgun going to take him down.
I'm starting to get super frustrated by these players who have big advantages against somebody and then they end up closing the distance against these charged shotguns. Yes, that's going to work in the open rounds. Sometimes it's going to work in the semis. When you're talking about the top 100 players in EU who have played already a maximum of 14 games, you're on game number 4, they're going to hit their shots. They're going to hit those huge charged shotguns. And if you're going in with less than 100, you're going to get taken out. And sometimes that's not even enough. It's Tayson continues just his over-aggression. Sometimes not somebody this game to go through, because now we're going to see a replay right off of the start, and this was that number 1 matchman, the player who was able to come back last game, getting into a fight right off of the start, and Rusty trying to turn around with a pistol, but unfortunately getting caught out. No builds there, 15 HP, and he was one of the first players eliminated in the match. So
it almost looked like he had forgotten the mini at that point, finally able to take it, but he is very, very worse for wear. As we move over to someone who's not as kinetic, is going to go down there to AWA. They do end up finishing off that elimination. Benji, however, on 3 eliminations, he's setting this elimination up. He's got that harpoon if he wants to use it like we saw last game. If he wants to get into that box or grab that player and something creative, Benji can do it. We saw him do it before, and he's looking to go into this player's box with that setup. He knows they're in that one box, but interesting to see him not go for it. But I want to point out, following a win, 70% of players placing outside of the top 50 at their next game. We saw 2 place first, then he went down. We saw right now Resty place first and then went down right away.
Yeah, it's all about containing that momentum and really chaining it into something else. Like, yes, it's awesome. You win a game, you're super hyped, you immediately queue and go to the next one. Now you're going to sit there for 30 minutes, 40 minutes while everyone else is going to play out a key match. You're going to watch your points, your lead just slowly dissolve. And while it's nice to be up there, you have to really turn it into something else. And I'm a little disappointed in these players' ability to kind of keep that discipline and make sure it's going on. But with that being said, it is Solos, it is EU, it is the largest and toughest region to get consistent places as Benji goes in and picks up what I think was his 4th elimination there. Not sure if he was the one to get the confirmation on it. Back on board here with game number 2 winner, Gambit's Toos was taken out early in game 3. As you said, we do have Storm Surge in play as well, and it looks like this one might actually get a couple ticks off as 11 players are going to be forced. But as I say that, Jam side, Kha'Zix and Diablo all picking up eliminations. RQS Heat getting one onto Reason. Reason going down again, very much so outside the placement threshold. So not really finding any momentum for him today. That was the qualifier 1 winner from last week.
And picking up a 5th place in qualifier day number 2, it's a little concerning now coming into the back half of qualifiers how he's playing into these games. Right, it is just the semifinals and he is still here. He has already qualified for heats and grand finals, but with this error of consistency here for him, it's concerning moving in to heats, into grand finals, where he's going to face some of these players. He's not going to face the same players every time. Yes, it's going to be set lobbies, but it's not going to be the same set lobbies from today or the same set lobbies from the day that he ended up winning. So he's going to need to bring that back and rein it in. As Toos looking to rein in this elimination, as that player got a little bit too greedy, and a very heads-up play by Toos to follow down below, but he's got to be careful. There's a player looking at him, and he realizes that and realizes, hey, I can't go too aggressive. I'm just going to maintain my high ground. He seems he's pulled zone it as well. He's got that kid shockwave launcher. This looks like another dub here for him if he's able to hold high ground. But what's concerning is that he's going to find, okay, it was a drop there. Thought it was something happened. But his match, Sundown, he's only got 54 builds.
He only has 54 builds, still 52 players left remaining. 2 more will need to go down before that second round of placement points. And Storm Surge turns off, and finally, there it goes as Toos picks up Jake I. Rifla will also pick up an elimination. Currently up on the high ground, you have Become Legends, Edison, as well as Toos on the one side. You see Noah Riley, Rifla both still in the lobbies. Vision Esports Arion trying to get a push towards the side here, getting a good angle and boxing himself up, but also running low on mats. Only 35 now, as we see tons of mountains and changes in verticality in play. What that means for the late game is players are going to be forced to burn utility much earlier on and burn through their builds, as you see Noah Riley picking up Stena there in the feed. And we have our top 56 goes down, as well as Orion trying to close the gap and be a little bit of a loot goblin here. However, the other player was able to steal away some much needed mats. He is just going to back off and reset, so good call by him, as we have 45 players left, and Save It going down right there too.
This is an interesting zone, because if it was going to save it pulls northwest, there's one player set up perfectly there. You see that one little green or yellow arrow there down below in a really good spot, but Sundown set it perfectly. You have to use your utility early in these games and these zones when it is on a mountain, because you know it's going to go down, and you can almost guarantee that it might at some point go back up. Toos, however, doesn't really have to worry about that, because he's got the kid's shockwave launcher. He can go down, he can go up, he can go down, he can go up. I think he's got 4 launch pads as well. This is a really good game for him. But again, the mats, he's going to have to find an elim, hopefully one that he can capitalize on and grab the mats from. But right now, with where he's positioned on the backside of zone, he's just looking to get anybody out of the air and says, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and launch pad. I'm going to save my rockets for this 7th, 8th zone and not waste them. And no one's shooting at him.
No one's shooting him because nobody's necessarily in the high ground position except for the player he's attempting to land on. We'll wait for the server to catch up as everyone uses all their builds and all of their utility to get there. And Toos is actually going to be able to land behind Toby and pick him that one up right away. We talked about the 4 launch pads, and what is he using? He's actually just max height gliding and waiting out the rest of the lobby because they don't have that utility. So everyone else, as he's just gliding, hanging out at the top, they're burning through all of their builds, all of their crash pads, building up this huge mosaic monster on the side as Andolex picks up Felix. Benji still up. It gets Edison next. It gets Arcana Express Guard, gets Aya, and we're closing in on top 30.
He's looking to get to that top 25, into that top 10. Is a crash pad going to be used here for him? He's looking in another shot on a player, but not going to be able to find anybody there. As Crown is going to go down. Squeeze is going to find S-Pin there as well. Another elimination in as well. It's going to be onto Saith and Matthew. Now 5 eliminations for Squeeze. We've seen him time and time again be up and up and up in the amount of elimination. And this is no stranger here, but he's going to run out of builds here soon, so he's going to have to make an impact frag come to him as Zone going back up the mountain, down to 14, 13 builds remaining. He's in a bad spot, and he's got to find something.
He needs to find something, but it's also top 25 here for him now. 5 builds left, but him and Tayson are the 2 players who are in the top 5 who are still left. And as I say that, Benji takes down Tayson just outside the top 20, so that's a huge impact elimination on him. And this is MCS X Squeezy RR's opportunity to rocket himself up the leaderboard, but Toos says not so fast. I might be able to catch up as well. 41 and 33 points. Toos is in the top right. X-Squeeze in the bottom right-hand corner. You can see Toos is all the way up on the high ground while X-Squeeze is trying to run that mid-ground tarp. Big elim again for X-Squeeze as he's now into the top 10. Top 5 will be the next threshold everyone is looking for, but Toos is completely uncontested with all of the launch pads while X-Squeeze is just running through everyone on the low ground. 12 eliminations between the 2 of them, and X-Squeeze being the leader at 7, which is almost the most we've seen. If he's able to convert this into it, he'll tie it with an 8th going through right now, trying to phase into the wall as Toos continues to just rain shots from above, and we have our top 5, Clay.
And X-Squeeze is still here, Toos, back and forth, a battle. You see X-Squeeze has the point threshold, 44, Toos with 36. He's got the elimination as well. Squeeze now sitting on 8. Can he make it 9? He's dodging the kid's shockwave launcher very well. He's going to play on top 120. He's going to take him out. X-Squeeze with 9 eliminations in a 1v1 versus Toos. Who is going to come out on top? Will it be Toos, who had a victory royale already? Will be able to pick up another one. A harpoon being used to grab the Toos, but the shockwave going to be sent into zone, and he's got to make some creative play. Harpoon being used. It's not enough as shots come through. Tusa got the HP advantage, but he's not in zone. Shots coming through as well. 42 HP. Who is it going to come down to? It's Tusa using the shockwave. That's going to send him. He's going to get the elimination, and he takes down X-Squeeze.
Win that game. X-Squeeze holding down number 1 spot, 48 points. Toos is right behind him, only 6 points behind. But now take a look from X-Squeeze down to Tayson, right? That's an 11-point difference. Now, what I'd like to see is if Toos forces a tiebreaker, because those Victory Royales will, of course, put him ahead. But on the other hand, it's like, if he just pulls away, he just pulls away.